Tonight, the tide will rise and fall exactly twice. You've felt this rhythm your whole life without questioning it. It feels like a law of nature, fixed and unchangeable. But it isn't. It's an accident of one rock, 93,000 miles away, doing what it's always done. Change that rock, and everything changes with it. So what if Earth had two moons instead of one? Let's set the rules. Not a passing asteroid. A second moon, roughly the size of the one you know, locked into orbit since the earliest days of the solar system. It's been there the whole time. What would actually be different? The first thing you'd notice is above you every night. Two moons means two sets of phases, drifting in and out of sync. Some nights they'd sit close together, doubling the light spilling into your room. Other nights they'd sit on opposite sides of the sky, and true darkness would almost never come. Nocturnal animals evolved to hide inside that darkness. Take it away, and an entire category of Earth's nightlife would have had to adapt or vanish. Now think about the ocean. Tides exist because the moon pulls harder on the side of Earth facing it than the side facing away, stretching the water into a bulge. Add a second moon pulling from another angle, and you get two competing bulges. Sometimes they'd stack, and the tide would rise higher than anything you've stood in front of. Other times they'd cancel out, and the shoreline would barely move. Coastal life would have had to build itself around chaos instead of rhythm. Here's where it gets stranger. Every time a moon pulls on Earth, it flexes the ground beneath you, compressing and releasing rock the way a hand kneads dough. Scientists call this tidal heating, and it's why Jupiter's moon Io is the most volcanic body in the solar system, torn apart from the inside by Jupiter's gravity. Two moons pulling from two directions would intensify that kneading. More heat trapped inside the planet usually means more volcanoes, more earthquakes, more churn just beneath your feet. There's a quieter cost, too. Your one moon stabilizes Earth's tilt. Without it, calculations by astronomer Jacques Lascar suggest Earth's axis would wobble chaotically over millions of years, dragging the seasons into unpredictable chaos. Right now, your moon acts like a gyroscope, holding that tilt steady enough for seasons to repeat reliably. Add a second moon, and you complicate the very thing keeping your climate predictable. So why don't we see two moon planets more often? This is where the thought experiment hits a wall. Two moons sharing orbital space around one planet isn't stable over long timescales. Their orbits interact with each other as much as with Earth, until the system resolves one of two ways. Either the moons collide, or one gets flung into deep space. Picture the collision. It wouldn't produce one larger moon. Modeling of large impacts, similar to work on the moon's own violent formation, suggests it would scatter debris into orbit instead. That debris would flatten into a ring, the same physics that gives Saturn its rings today. Earth, alone among the rocky planets, would end up wearing one. Standing outside at dusk instead of a second moon, you'd see a pale band arcing across the sky, brightest near the horizon, visible every night. Ancient civilizations would have built entirely different calendars around it. You, thousands of years later, would just call it normal. Here's the part that should stop you. This isn't a fantasy scenario. Two moons collapsing into a ring may be closer to the natural outcome than a stable two-moon system ever surviving at all. If Earth had ever gotten a second moon, the likely ending isn't two moons in your sky. It's rings, which reframes the question you started with. You didn't ask what if Earth had two moons because you expected them to stick around forever. You asked because you wanted to know how close the sky above you came to looking unrecognizable. The tide you'll watch tonight, rising and falling exactly twice, is the surviving outcome of a history that could have gone a dozen directions, and happened to land on the one where you only ever had to learn to read one moon, not two, not a ring, just the quiet, single rock that's been keeping your world steady since before you existed.